I'd like to tell you guys a story, and I'm going to get right to it. I'd love to hear your comments, read your comments below as the story unfolds, and I'd love to, kind of maybe open a discussion on this particular subject. So, the way the story goes, guy goes into work one day. One of his coworkers, for whatever reason, kind of goes on a tirade. His coworker starts swearing, starts kind of making threats to an individual who isn't currently at the store, but is somebody associated with the store that, these everyone works at. And he also makes not a threat, but he makes mention of having a gun in his car. Now, understand that the state in which I live, you're allowed to carry a gun. I have no problems with that. I have no opinions on that. I'm just saying, for the sake of the story, it is relevant. The guy sort of isn't sure what he is supposed to do in this situation, in that he has a coworker who is, and keep in mind, this is a retail setting. Okay, this is a store. There are several other employees within the building. The gentleman, the guy we're talking about, who's kind of going on the tirade, is talking with another coworker, um, a female coworker. That may or may not matter, but female coworker, and it appears, or it seems, that something that happened in their conversations was sparked all this. So the person that we're talking about is kind of stuck. Kind of, what are they supposed to do? That person decided to text their boss, the owner of the store, very quickly, immediately upon hearing, this guy mentioned he has a gun in his car. He texts the owner, "Hey, I need you to call so and so," which is the manager slash person who this individual is kind of going off on, and or you need to get down here because the this guy who's kind of going on a tirade is going on a tirade. This doesn't seem like a good situation. The long and the short is that a series of phone calls happen to various other employees within this store, of which there are several. Let's say uh, uh, 4 or 5 people total in the store, maybe 6. Um, and from that, it would appear. Actually, I shouldn't say appear. The way it happened was the individual who kind of started the tirade, I guess, was verbally told over the phone, like, "Hey, you can't do that," or something. He explained his side. I don't know the details on that. Um, and the first individual, the one who contacted the owner of the store, decided, "Can't do this. I'm leaving." So he left. That person, the guy leaves, right? The long and the short of it is that the individual who initially called the owner saying, "Hey, here's what's happening," that individual essentially lost their job. Now, it was under here, a little piece of advice, people. Even in no, even in at-will states, lawyers will always advise that you need to get that employee to quit. Now, I'm not saying that that's something you should like fight. It's probably not worth it. But essentially, this person was put into a position of, if resolving the issue between you being the complaintee, I'm sorry, the person with the concern, if the choice is you staying, but that means I have to fire the individual who created, and I'm going to quote the owner, I believe he said, um, if it's between that and firing the other person, That's not going to happen. Like, in other words, you're not, he isn't going to fire the individual who, was kind of, again, flipping out. I guess it's just getting loud. Okay, getting loud, getting so on and so forth. Saying the things he said out loud, um, in a very angry manner, mind you. This was someone um, who did not appear to be happy. Okay, certain things obviously can be opinion, but I'm certain based on what I know that this was in anger. Okay, this was not a nice conversation that this guy was having. So, what are your thoughts as far as the person who had the concern is ultimately the one being punished for this? Now, I'm not here to, I'm not trying to spark some sort of a legal debate, uh, because everyone is going to throw a lot of opinions around about that. Um, but that being said, well, is it smart, even if it's legal, even if it is all legal, if there are lawyers out there who maybe see this or whatever, and you're like, no, everything he did was legal. If even if this is legal, do you think that this is right? Like, does it make sense that the individual who filed the complaint and and it was the quote was, oh, what is that? Something work environment, a hostile. That's what it was. He admitted that the other individual created a hostile work environment. I know that term is a real thing. I know it's not something you would ever want in your where you work. Um, but that being said, that's the story. Now, let me sprinkle in some detail. This incident happened the day after the election. And as much as I hate to bring that aspect into this conversation, it is reality. It's it is a truth. Um, the reasoning from what was heard, you know, through this individuals, this guy's yelling or whatnot, is he was obviously not happy with the results, and he was, I guess, arguing with. It would have appeared he was really waiting for somebody to mention something about the election before I would say he quote unquote uncorked. That's how I would put it. He uncorked. And should he have lost his job? Should he have been sent home? Because that's the thing. There was zero repercussion for the gentleman who initially created the hostile work environment. None. He didn't get sent home. He got a stern talking to, from what I understand. I don't know if that's enough. Is it enough? Should it be enough? Um, I mean, obviously, you can't just fire somebody. Anybody, if anybody could just claim a hostile work environment, I suppose that that would be kind of dangerous too. You don't want to just be allowed to make that claim. Yet, it was enough of a claim that my understanding is that he knew that by the guy quitting, he was going to lose an employee and wasn't going to fight like the unemployment. So like he knew what happened a, was a problem. Um, so yeah, I would love to hear your opinions on this. This is not typically, I mean, none of my videos are pretty typical. I just throw stuff up pretty randomly, but this seemed like a really interesting discussion. It was something that was it just seemed worthy of asking some people out there. I don't have a lot of subscribers, but if anyone does see this and would like to throw their 2 cents in, I'd love to hear it. It's the more I think about it, the more baffled I get, and especially if this is something that's totally, from a legal standpoint, like yeah, that's just the way it works. If it is, can somebody maybe help explain to me why that makes sense? But in any case, I hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks for watching the video. Look forward to hearing from you.